This is The Strange Recital, a podcast about fiction which questions the nature of reality. Mud, bishops, and lovemaking. I'm thinking about L'Âge d'Or, that jagged film by Buñuel and Dali. I'm in the cafe I frequent practically every day. I sit in the corner and bury myself in my phone. That's what I use to write with. The gentle clatter and hubbub around me is conducive to writing, in a similar way perhaps to the use of white noise as a sleeping aid for some people. I can sit here and nurse a cup of coffee for hours without being moved on. I had a flurry once, something that approximated motion towards success. I had 2 books published and I wrote some screenplays. With titles like Wedlock and A History of the Chair, it's not surprising that they were never made. My agent is not much help, as she suffers from the occupational hazard of drinking too much, too often. I've approached a few others, but I don't seem to be of any use to them, so I'm sticking with Sally Newcomb for now. I toy with the idea of not considering myself a writer, but just as someone who writes, though there's no question of giving it up. It might be because it's inextricably knotted with my identity, or because its promise of reaching into another world is simply too alluring. But that is all moot now, because I'm unable to write anything. I have nothing to say, and if I did, I probably couldn't find the words or string them together. The problem is an existential one. The phone is to blame. Socrates may have railed against literacy, but Apple, intentionally or not, has set the course for the destruction of civilization as it has been conceived for millennia. Either that, or it has caused an accelerated evolution which has sent humanity careening towards existence as a digital machine. Maybe I'm wrong, just trapped in my Luddite mind. But I used to carry a notebook and scribble feverishly. Now I carry a phone and the screed has become virtual, just an idea of writing, not writing itself. And now the spigot is completely seized up, not a drop. It's like cancer of that gland. Pituitary gland? No. Which gland is it? It escapes me. Everything is gone. Phone in hand, I wait. There are thoughts, but no purpose to them. No way they can be manipulated onto a page or screen. I've thrown a giraffe out of the window and kicked a violin down the street. I've shot someone for no reason. I've shaken back the oily quiff from my eyes. Now what? Perhaps I should assume that I'm a Celt. It makes sense. Those blue people had an insatiable need for sacrifice. A need so bad that they were inclined to sacrifice a victim 3 times. By garroting, drowning, and burning. Or was it clubbing? The victim having chosen a piece of burnt bannock cake. Those ancient people would have considered me decadent or deranged, because, despite my entertaining fantasies, I don't like to kill anything. Still, they had other modes of sacrifice more appealing to me. They liked to throw things in water, valuable things into lakes or rivers. There is obviously something quintessentially human about that. The practice survives today as coins being tossed into fountains. This form of sacrifice inspires me to fish a penny from my pocket and drop it into my half-full cup of tepid coffee. No sooner has it disappeared beneath the surface with a plop than I think I hear a hiss. I watch as bubbles rise up from the bottom of the cup. They do not diminish but become more virulent until I realize that the liquid is boiling and emitting a large amount of steam. As the vapor gushes out, first the ambience and then the room itself disappear from my consciousness. A large person with a massive head stands before me. I can't determine whether it is male or female. I suspect that the head is covered by a wig of wild and straggly hair that reaches down to the shoulders. "So you say you're a writer?" "I didn't say that." "Well, that's what you think. I know all your thoughts. I've been in your pocket. I'll be returning there soon. Who are you? Winston Churchill. Have you ever thought that you are a clamourer, arrogant in your ignorance? I'm in the situation where good things to say come too late. You're not Winston Churchill. Nor are you. What of it? You're a second-rate writer, a hack whose creations are so insignificant that even you can no longer believe in them. Yet you can't put them down. Your horse is dead, but you persist in trying to ride it. What's your point? I can put wings on your horse and breathe life back into its carcass. I can unblock your colon. The large being in front of me has tears cascading down its bulbous cheeks. You're insulting me while offering to help, and you're crying. I don't understand. I'm not crying. I'm ridding myself of excess fluid, and I have no interest in helping you. What I am offering is a proposition, which is, you want to write something good. I can make that happen, but it comes with a price. I wanted to be able to write again. Quality was not yet a concern. And what do you charge for your services? Whatever you write from now on, if you agree to my offer, will be italicized. That's not part of the fee, it's a parameter. The cost to you will be this. You will never write with pen or pencil on paper again. You will take the coin from your cup and put it back in your pocket. You will keep it there always. If you change your trousers, the coin stays with you. Agreed? I reach for the pen I keep in my jacket. Do I have to sign? No. If you renege, your newfound talents will shrivel faster than an old man's cock. No signature required. With that, the being is gone, and the cafe returns to normal, as if no time has passed. I scoop the coin out of the slimy dregs at the bottom of my coffee cup, wipe it off and put it in my pocket. I snap my pen in half and throw it away. From now on, I'll embrace my phone without misgivings. Prostate, that's what that gland is. I feel clearer. I no longer need to meditate on the poster of the buxom farm woman with a basket of olives in her powerful arms, or on the flaking paint on the wall beside her. A screenplay begins to form, faster than I had ever thought possible. My concentration is sharper than an obsidian knife. It is all flowing out in italics. Within 2 weeks, I've got a masterpiece. I'm not deluding myself this time. It's the best writing I've ever done. I have to get it out there. I call Sally. Hi, Sally. Hold on. I wait. The minutes seem like hours. There are some banging noises in the background. Yes? It's me. Me? All people are me to themselves. Who are you? You know who I am. We lived together for 5 years. In my enthusiasm, I forgot to check the time. It's getting on for 4:30. If you want to get anywhere with Sally, it has to be earlier in the day. The next morning, I print a copy and take it over to her personally. I hand her the wad of paper. She's in her dressing gown, seated in her kitchen alcove. Flakes of croissant litter the table. She takes it from me and thumbs through it. The whole thing's in fucking italics. So? What did you do that for? I don't know. It just came out that way. Does it matter? It's unprofessional, off-putting. I'm not going to read this in its current form. Give me another without the italics. She hands it back. I'm not sure I can do that. I thought of this and tried to switch the tab before printing it. I'd attempted it on several different computers. Nothing worked. Even the copy shop couldn't do it. They told me the file was corrupted. You're not sure? What's wrong with you? She looks up and scowls at me through her glasses. Well, this may be as good a time as any to tell you. I've been thinking about our relationship. It's been stagnant for quite a while. You better look around for someone else. I can't help you anymore. Goodbye. And take that thing with you. That was Italics. Written and read by me, Tom Newton.
Where did that come from?
I had a conversation by email with my friend Brian Maloney about a year ago. He's the author of Schrager Musik, which we aired on The Strange Recital last September.
Mm-hmm.
He came up with an idea that inspired the story.
What was that?
I don't know. It got lost in the depths of a moment. What I do remember is that it involved a Faustian pact.
Ah, those Faustian pacts. They make for good stories like Robert Johnson at the Crossroads and many others.
Faust was a real person, it seems, or two people sharing the same name. An itinerant magician, alchemist, and astrologer, or two of them, wandering around Germany in the early 1500s. A man who became a legend, which became an adjective.
The deal with the devil, it's an old theme in Western folk tales coming out of Christian superstition.
Yeah, right.
As if certain people must have sold their soul to Satan in order to be so rich or lucky or so good at what they do.
You know, if you reduce the Faustian pact to its basic elements, you're left with the idea of giving up something extremely valuable in exchange for some short-term benefits.
Right, but the common thread is that as hard as you try to outwit the devil, he catches up with you in the end. You should never have been so selfish to seek success or riches or skill beyond your natural abilities and then bargain with the devil. For doing that, you must be punished.
Yeah, but there are some stories in which the devil doesn't collect.
Mm-hmm.
One example is a man who asked for eternal life in exchange for his soul. He never died, so he never had to relinquish it. Hard to believe that the devil could be so stupid.
Right.
Though I'm sure that's a rare occurrence. He usually gets the better end of the deal. But if you look at the pact in the way I just described, you see that it's fundamental to our lives. Society is a series of interlocked Faustian pacts. The first one I can think of is work.
Yes, I can see that. You give up your free time and do what I want on my terms, and I'll pay you money to spend in my store.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And there are others too. The student loan scenario for one, our codependent relationship with technology, the overall structure of debt and interest payments.
Yep, life today, a tangled web of unsavory agreements. But tell me, why did the demon in your story come out of a coffee cup?
I saw it more as a genie than a demon, like something from the Arabian Nights. Maybe they're the same thing. I made up this story from two pre-existing ones, the Faust legend and Aladdin.
Right, that was one of my favorite stories as a kid. I loved that whole 1001 Nights, the tales of Scheherazade, the way they go deeper and deeper, stories within stories, with all kinds of magic and adventure. It all has a very different feeling from the Christian morality tales.
Sure.
Much more playful, even though for Scheherazade it was actually a desperate move to stay alive. Cool idea, saved by stories. Old stuff that's still with us today.
I like the idea of literature being a series of stories told again and again, recycled, repurposed, and personalized by each author, evolving constantly through time.
Yes, although I probably could have done without the Disney version of Aladdin. Robin Williams, Gilbert Gottfried, please. But enough of that. I always loved magic lanterns. The magic lantern in your story is a coffee cup. But why the coin drop?
Well, it was an extension of the idea of ancient Celtic sacrificial practices. What that has to do with anything, I don't know. The whole thing's a stream of consciousness, really. Like wandering through a strange landscape and walking around all the structures you discover there.
That reminds me of an ancient method of memorization from pre-Gutenberg times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, without printing, texts had to be memorized. So each thing to be remembered was associated with an object in the mind and placed in an imaginary structure like a building with rooms. And then when the time came to remember it all, you mentally walked through the building and saw the objects, and the associated text was there in your memory. Something like that.
Cool. Yeah.
It's recently been theorized that dreams are actually the brain building yesterday's memories through these weird associations.
Or tomorrow's, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, my sister told me that she found this story quite depressing. I thought it was humorous. But then there's that connection between depression and humor. Maybe that's why a number of comedians have killed themselves.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's got a depressing side if you focus on the plight of writers in the marketplace today. But hey, it's funny too at the same time. A paradox. Anyway, the funniest stuff is always skating on the thin surface of a dark abyss, right?
Indeed. This is The Strange Recital, on the web at thestrangerecital.com. The music on this episode was Mutton Busters of the Gulf Coast by Exquisite Frosting Penmanship, and also an excerpt from Surtout le Retour by Mon Plaisir. I just found an old bottle outside. I think it's empty. I'm going to go and open it now. This is episode 18051.